To turn on the light?
You couldn't have done that earlier?
I hate you.
I like this.
Dormammu, I come to bargain.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
I am a god, you foul creature. And I will not be bullied by that.
We know each other. He's a friend from work.
Baskin-Robbins always finds out.
I am Iron Man.
I'm Groot.
I am Steve Rogers.
We're all standing up now. Bunch of jackasses standing in a circle.
Because that's what heroes do.
Hello and welcome to Maximum Marvel Drive, a Who Watches podcast about the Marvel Cinematic and Television Universe on Disney+. I'm Travis Fishburne.
I'm Alex Brunel.
I'm Dustin Meadows.
And I'm Ryan DeVere.
And this week we are going to be covering the finale of Season 1 of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which is Episode 6, One World, One People. And it was a very good finale, I think. Tied everything up pretty neatly. They had a lot to do. It was basically one giant action set piece. It was very well done. I think so anyway. Alex, what are your thoughts on this episode?
I liked it overall. I thought that there was a degree of... I felt shortchanged at certain parts. Just a little bit. And I thought the stuff that hit really well. But it felt a little bit... thin. I don't know. It felt like we got through a lot of things very fast, and technically there's not really anything wrong with the way that it wrapped everything up, because it pretty much did. But it was, I don't know. I liked it, and I disliked aspects of it. The part I had the biggest gripe about we'll get to, but it was Carly's death, which I don't really like.
Yeah. No, I think it's the episode has a lot of awesome payoff and a lot of things that I should be really excited about, but I think the way in which we got here was a little underwhelming for me, and therefore it kind of stole those, it undercut the moments that I should have been, pretty psyched to see happen.
Yeah, I get that for sure.
Ryan, what about you?
Yeah, I think I've said this before. I mean, we went from a 10-episode season to a 6-episode season, and I feel like there's a better show on the cutting room floor. We get to this episode, and there was things that happened on screen that I felt like I should care more about, and it felt like I was watching it through a lens.
Yeah.
Once again, this show never hits offensive. It's always serviceable. It does a great job. I feel like it continues what the WandaVision started with. These are TV shows with huge budgets. They do good set pieces. They do good action. And it continued with that. I never felt like there was any issue with it budget-wise. Or presentation. The acting was all great. Yeah. I just felt like it felt contained and a little bit removed from what I was hoping for.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that. And then Dustin, what are your thoughts?
I'm on the fence. The action sequences were really good. I think the action in this episode was well done. I feel like some of the resolution was a little underwhelming, and some of it even clunky. Clunky if you're nasty.
Ooh.
But yeah, the first half hour, up until the action's done, fully on board, and then I feel like everything getting wrapped up just kind of limped across the finish line.
Yeah. No.
And I think there's some threads that we got really shortchanged with the resolution, which we'll get into later as we go through the episode. But that's kind of where I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you can even call some of those resolutions. not just
Yeah.
all right, well, story's over now. It's like, oh, okay.
Right.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, kind of a lot of that going around here.
Yeah. Sarah's kids aren't calling Bucky dad, so I'm out. I don't care anymore.
They're calling Uncle Buck.
I completely forgot that that Bucky went on a date earlier this season, and like it was a nice little date.
Yeah,
that he walked out on rather abruptly. But
yeah,
yep.
Like he had a lot of action going on this season.
He did.
Not just with knives.
Not just with knives. True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the show overall had a bad case of tell, don't show. We heard a lot about refugees and you know these put upon people, and didn't see a lot of them. And I wonder like if that was like, you know, these 4 deleted episodes or something, or like whatever it is with the subplot that we never knew, like if that stuff was there and felt better. We'll never know, because Disney won't own up to those things.
Yeah. It also took me until this episode to figure out whose side the Flag Smashers were on with their plan.
Yeah.
Because literally the only explanation we got was like, we want the world to go back to the way it was during the blip. I was like, wait, okay, I don't know who for though. Like that's very vague.
Yeah. Yeah. True fact.
Yeah. I would have loved to have gotten one episode that just followed Carly. Let me spitball an idea of like, so during the blip, we have one country that was particularly affected by, you've got more wives, more women, mothers were blipped out of existence than usual. So you have a high concentration of children without mothers, and so Carly goes to a country to go help take care of that, right? She's embedded. It's been 5 years. She falls in love with somebody, and then suddenly bam, mothers are coming back. And then mothers are coming back to rekindle relationships with their children that they've been missing, and so they don't want Carly around anymore to be playing mother anymore. And then the person that she fell in love with, now their spouse is back, and she's like, I don't have a space there. And now the government is showing up to be like, yeah, you don't have your house anymore, and we need to, and like it's the final straw. She's like watched the rest of her life come apart in 5 years, and she's like, no, I'm drawing the line here. And then uses this movement as it's something that gave us a little bit more to feel about her, because I wanted to be on her side. I wanted to feel like she had a stake in this, but we're always told that she's nice, but we don't ever actually really see it. And we're always told about the refugees, but we don't actually see them. We're always
no, we're told that she's doing noble things, and then we see her killing innocent people.
Pretty consistently.
Like, we're meant to be sympathetic, and all we see her do is kill people and be sad that an old, presumably adoptive mother figure in her life died.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is, we already have more reason to be sympathetic with Bucky and Sam right from the rip, because we know that Steve's not in their lives anymore, and he was a big part of it.
Yeah.
And we don't get anything even close to that for Carly, which makes it really hard to be sympathetic or care one way or the other.
Yeah, I wanted to like her more than we ever got to. I was waiting for her moment.
Yeah.
Up until the end.
You're waiting for her moment that she had in Solo, where the big reveal happens, and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, if we want to talk about that, I didn't think that I thought she would have been a more interesting character had that resolution actually worked, and she could have come out of it. And I don't know. Yeah. It didn't seem like there was a real big plot or character reason why she needed to die. If we're gonna believe John Walker's turn on a dime into like not a terrible human being, we could get that too, I thought, but
Yeah,
well, that was an interesting. They spent the last the whole season kind of villainizing John Walker
Yeah.
For him to just kind of just in a very brief moment turn pretty okay.
Right. That's the best we got. Was like pretty okay.
Yeah.
It's on par with Jason Statham in the course of one Fast and the Furious movie, going from villain to, oh, okay, now I get along with The Rock, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, it's when he saved that baby and the Fate of the Eight.
Well, yeah, maybe like literally between those movies, it's like he was trying, like he killed Han, like he killed their friends and tried to kill them. There's just like, you can trust him. He's cool now. He's on our side. Like that's like I give Fast and the Furious a pass on that kind of stuff because it's the Fast and the Furious.
It's the Fast, right? And
so my bar is a little bit higher for prestige television.
Yeah, I think this show commits kind of a cardinal sin of comic books, which is it's a kind of boring.
Yeah.
Not super boring, but it's never like wildly entertaining.
Yeah, I think it was a good idea to front load it with action, but then like it's not long enough, and then it's just like the second half of the show is just people talking and looking sad about things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also want to hear Alex's take on Han Solo being in the Fast and Furious. It's that literally that character's name is Han Solo.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I've never seen any of those films.
SEOUL-OH.
Well, okay then.
That makes me like that character even more than I already did now.
Oh no. Should we get into the episode?
Yeah, we'll get into this one. All right.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Sure, whatever.
Yeah, the new Fast and Furious trailer, but I guess we'll do this. So we just get right into the action with Sam and Bucky. This, I have the wrong notes up. This is last week. All right, there it is. One world, one people. Okay, so Bucky, Sharon Carter, and Sam, they go to New York to stop the Flag Smashers attack, and we finally get the big unveiling of Sam's Captain America suit.
Yeah, he just flew right in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a pretty great reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't get like a suit up sequence. I was expecting like a Tim Burton Batman suit up, but
yeah. I like that it was just like the last thing we saw him was just like opening the suitcase, and the next thing we see him is just like, I'm Captain America now, what's up?
Yep.
I think this is something that works better with streaming, with people who are going to binge this later, is you'll go from the end of last episode into this one. Mm-hmm. The start of it for me was a little jarring of like, oh, I guess he's in the suit now. Okay. But on subsequent watches, it'll be easier to be like, oh yeah, okay, this just goes hand in hand.
Yeah. Also, he flew from Louisiana to New York.
Yeah.
In that suit.
That's far.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been racking up all those airline miles.
He got Red Wing back. He deflects a helicopter.
Yeah.
At some point in this opening, I think, right?
Yeah.
Who lands on the bridge?
Yeah.
He's got the the vibranium suit that can just. He doesn't have to worry about those wings breaking.
Was Steve? Let me ask you this: was Steve Rogers helicopter proof? I don't think so.
No, he wasn't even bulletproof.
Yeah.
He did go up against a helicopter and
he did curl
Civil War.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
Can he bench more than a helicopter? Yes, but he's not helicopter proof.
He's not helicopter deflective.
Yes.
Yeah.
If that helicopter had been like, I think I'm gonna bank into Captain America. No more Captain America.
That would have been like the original death of Chewbacca was it a planet or a moon that crushed Chewbacca?
It was a moon.
Okay,
Yeah.
It was a moon. That was how Chewbacca died in a comic book or in a
Vector Prime.
He was crushed by a helicopter?
No,
They're by a
moon.
moon.
Yeah, because how else are you gonna kill Chewbacca? You gotta be crushed by a giant celestial body.
Yeah, nothing worse than getting a moon dropped on you.
He died saving Anakin Solo, who later died anyway.
So in that way, Chewbacca is much like Bucky, the original Bucky in the comics.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this in the show that Bucky originally was the only character in Marvel history that died and never came back?
No.
That was Bucky for years was a joke in comic book world because Captain America didn't need a sidekick, and Bucky died diving in front of bullets being shot at Captain America, and he had his shield. Like he could have easily just been like no, but Bucky chose to swoop in and get shot, and Bucky stayed dead until they revived him for the franchise, pretty much, or maybe a few years before. But yeah, Bucky used to be a joke, man. Now he's got a show.
Right.
There was a joke for a while about Bucky and Uncle Ben being the only two that can't come back.
Yeah.
Because it undoes too much about the characters.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get Uncle Ben back someday.
Comes back as a villain.
Spider Ben. Anyway, well, what do you guys think of this costume? So Falcon's costume has always kind of been B tier at best.
Yeah.
Do you like Captain Falcon?
I mean, the colors and the design that they did use, it looks great. And from what I hear and can see, it's awesome because it is straight from the comics, which, props to that Marvel is sticking to these costume-based or comic-based costumes. But I just kept getting distracted by the fact, and I know that the costume was like this too. It's basically a variation of his original costume, but his ears and the whole top of his head is exposed, which is just strange to me.
Yeah.
Because those are some vulnerable things that you'd think you'd just want to have some protection there. But
yeah, that's where bullets do the most damage.
Exactly.
And he does a whole lot of crashing into stuff head first in this.
He really does.
Yeah, reinforce your dome, my dude.
Yeah. Even Captain America, even Steve Rogers' Captain America covered his head.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, no concussions for that man.
Nah.
And he had the super soldier serum, so he needed the helmet less.
Yeah.
He had a strong head.
He had a strong head.
It's like Homer Simpson head.
Homer Simpson. Now that's a strong head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So he's not the first time, but he chucks the shield through a window.
Yeah, he just bails on the battle with Badrock, right? In this scene.
Yeah, he does that again. Yeah. And then does it again with the helicopter later too. He does a lot of throwing the shield through windows.
Yeah, it's a good move.
Yeah.
It works. Nobody expects it.
Breaking windows is always fun time, especially when they're not your windows.
Yeah, that's actually very true.
Oh,
30
I want to
stories
see the variation on Billy Joel's Glass Houses album, but it's Sam holding the shield.
Yep.
Yeah. Real inside baseball. Remember when we were making a death deal and Falcon threw his shield through the windshield of my Toyota Camry?
I do. Dustin is referencing... Yeah, Travis was the shield. Dustin is referencing a time in college when the three of us were making a film together, and Travis did a thing as Dustin was pulling out of a parking lot where he rolled across the hood of the car as Dustin was slowly moving. And we thought, hey, that's cool. Let's put this in our Escape from New York ripoff movie that we're making. And then we shot... we only rehearsed it twice. We never actually shot it. The ones we have on video were supposed to be rehearsals. The first time went fine, pretty okay.
And I was like, go faster.
And then Dustin went faster. And there's one point where Travis is in the air at a 45-degree angle with his shoulder digging into the windshield of this car. And then we had to go to the hospital and get all this glass taken out of your arm. You had bruise makeup on, so they thought you were like really messed up.
Yeah, they couldn't tell what was going on.
It's a good makeup artist.
And then we didn't have time to finish shooting the movie, so we just made the ending of the movie this terrible anti-ending where the hero just dies suddenly and the movie stops happening. We later finished it, but
Yeah, gave it the Ridley Scott treatment.
yeah, we did do that.
Yeah.
We gave it the Zack Snyder's Justice League treatment. We went back and properly finished our original vision of the film.
In 4:3.
God.
Does this exist anywhere on the internet?
Yeah,
I believe it's on YouTube.
I put it on YouTube, but I did upload it in like 2008, so bear that in mind for quality when you're watching it.
I only recently watched John Carpenter's Assault on Precinct 13 for the first time in the past month.
Oh man, I took so much from that movie.
You took everything from that movie.
There's a little bit of escape from New
all of
York.
the music cues.
There's a little bit of escape from New York, but almost all the rest of it's from Assault on Precinct 13. Yeah.
So throughout the entire movie, I was getting some. Yeah, I'm like, oh, this is real nostalgic.
Yeah. Oh man, that's like I love the Assault on Precinct 13 soundtrack. I genuinely get creeped out by it, and especially because it's maybe 9 total minutes of music that's just looped and edited in different ways for 35 minutes. It's great.
Yeah, it could just not stop, and I'd be perfectly happy with that.
Yeah, it's such a great score. So yeah, Death Deal. Go watch that for poops and laughs.
Yep.
And Batroc is back.
Yes.
Batroc is back. This is a
only
podcast
for
not about
football.
movies that we made.
Yet.
Maybe someday.
No.
Yeah.
I was happy that we got another fight scene with Batroc. Although we get the really bizarre revelation that a chair can stop a vibranium shield.
Yeah. Yeah. It did destroy the chair, but yeah.
It goes through windows just fine, but the chair.
The chair.
I present to you the chair. Yeah, I think this guy. Well, I mean, I guess he's probably not going to show up very much more
Ever.
at the end of this ever. But he was a great, just kind of like baseline for the Captain America universe of like, oh yeah, he shows up. You know, bad things are happening. You're going to get a good like hand-to-hand scene. This was a good. The first time that Sam went toe-to-toe with him, it was okay, right? I mean, I wouldn't say that Sam came out on top necessarily, but this time Sam seems to have his feet under him a little more. He seems a little more confident. He's got better footwork.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It's just awesome action set piece after action set piece in this opening. We get some hostages taken away in armed trucks and a helicopter. And Bucky pursues the ones on foot while Sam takes the ones in the air. Oh, and Bucky gets distracted by a phone call and lets them all go very easily.
Yeah. Carly just calls him to chat.
And he can't use his eyes and his ears and mouth at the same time.
He can't be walking.
Nope.
Yeah. It's important that he stayed right there.
Bucky.
And that call was just for her to make, like, she's just like, I'm just making sure that what I already thought is the real thing with you. And that didn't really do anything, right? Just stop Bucky for a minute. Okay.
Yeah, it's entirely a distraction tactic.
Yeah. And then Bucky's like, dang, she got me. It was like, what did you think was going to happen?
Come on, Buck.
You're the Winter Soldier, man.
Exactly. Like the most skilled, like feared person of all time is like reduced to like
being distracted by like
tactics.
Is your refrigerator running?
Could have been like Bruce Simpson.
I'm calling about the warranty on your automobile. He stops to take these calls. His long distance is maybe needs to be reconsidered right now.
He's very concerned. You know, he grew up in an age where they didn't really have telephones, so you know this is still a new
So
thing.
anytime someone calls him, it must be like of imminent importance.
Yeah, he's like, wow, this technology is amazing. I've got to take this. It's going to space, guys. Coming back. Yeah, a lot of this. And then we get a good motorcycle scene with Bucky because he's more or less the Wolverine of this universe.
Yep.
And then I
really liked the motorcycle scene.
Yeah.
Actually, him launching off of his motorcycle and just becoming a human torpedo.
Yep.
To hit that one guy was just like, yes, this is all I wanted. I just wanted the human torpedo.
Shoot me.
I don't know if have we seen that tactic in the MCU before, like launching yourself into a fight, like just launching yourself missile style off of like popping a wheelie on a motorcycle. It's a good move.
We've seen him do other cool things on a motorcycle, like in Civil War. He's the one who takes out somebody and immediately does like a U-turn just in the opposite direction with a motorcycle.
Yeah. That's the road scene where they drop down into the subway.
Yeah.
Like the underground. That's a great, that whole sequence is fantastic. And I've got to believe that happened in the Ghost Rider at some point, whether you consider Ghost Rider part of the MCU or not. And it definitely happens. Wolverine does it in X-Men Origins.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah.
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 So you're not really pulling from the top on any of those, though.
Yeah. True fact.
Yeah, they just did this because they didn't have Colossus to give them a fastball special.
Yeah, I was just about to say, how many X-Men movies did we get, and not a single one did Wolverine get thrown?
We did get that. We got that in Brett Ratner's X-Men 3.
Yeah, that did happen,
in the
right?
room.
Did we?
Yeah.
At the beginning of the movie. Yeah, that happens.
It's
in the in the training sequence?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, when they showed us a cooler movie that they could have made, and then they didn't?
They absolutely did.
Yep.
Hey, what if we did this bleak future with gigantic killer robots? Nah. What if Jean Grey had a psychotic break and like kind of just looked mad the whole movie?
Yeah. Also, remember the coolest character we introduced in the last movie? He's not in this one. You got to play
yes.
a happy video game to find out why he's not in it.
Yeah, we told Alan Cummings said no because he was busy doing Son of the Mask.
Oh,
that's probably exactly it.
I just on that topic, I just watched like a 15-minute Jamie Kennedy YouTube video because he has a YouTube channel where he puts up videos talking about stories from his career, and he basically explained the circumstances of Son of the Mask and why he did that.
Was it because they killed him off in Scream 2?
I mean, he talks for 16 minutes about it, and it's a long story. Because he was talking about like setting up his empire and like doing stuff that was him, and he was concerned it wasn't him, but they were throwing like $2 million at him, and like, like all this stuff, all these considerations, and it's just like, I wouldn't have assumed that there was like ever heavy conversations about like, should I do Son of the Mask? What will that do to my career? I would have just assumed it's just like, oh yes, Jamie Kennedy, of course he's going to do Son of the Mask. But there's more to the story. See Jamie Kennedy's YouTube channel.
Wow.
I mean, I'd do Son of the Mask for $2 million.
Yeah.
I'd do Son of the Mask for a lot less.
Yeah. Same.
That's the difference between you and me, Travis. You're an artist and I want a boat.
Travis would be trying to maintain the artistic integrity while Dustin would just be like, yeah, what do you want? I'll do it.
Son of the Mask, I'm in.
Oh,
$3 million.
Let's not do that movie.
Everybody
Stepson
watch
of the Mask.
Son of the Mask. The movie that came before Tom Hiddleston, in which Loki is the character.
Yeah. The original cinematic Loki.
That's right.
Aside from things about Loki, the actual classical character, yeah.
Okay. All right. So we also get this awesome set piece of Sam flying around, taking helicopters, and it's cool because we have these bookended helicopter set pieces for this series with Sam.
Yeah.
Chasing helicopters to rescue people.
Yeah. And I like it's fun that Captain America can fly now.
Mm-hmm.
That's new. That's cool. You can fight helicopters now.
This is the living embodiment of would you rather be super strong or would you rather be able to fly? Captain America.
Yeah.
You get both versions of Captain America.
Flying's way more practical, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Super strong, more
day to day,
broken than fixed.
Yeah, first time you get up in the middle of the night to grab a midnight snack and you pull the refrigerator door off.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Flight. Yeah. Oh no, I accidentally started gliding around. This is kind of fun.
Flying would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, if any Wakandans want to send over a flight suit,
please do. I don't care. Yeah, what color? It can be ridiculous. I'd wear it. And then we get John Walker showing up, and he's wielding his homemade shield.
Yep.
Which does not do any of the things the original shield does.
Nope. It's immediately dented the first time somebody hits it.
He tries to throw it, and it's like, this doesn't bounce and ricochet off things at all.
Nope.
This one actually follows the laws of physics, where the other one did not.
Yep.
The magic. Yeah, and we've even seen earlier, like when they first introduced John Walker, they show him practicing with the shield. So it's like he knows how to throw it. Yeah. This was another thing that was like, oh, John Walker showed up, and I thought that I should have felt something more about it than what I did. It was like, oh, okay, he's in the mix now. But I felt like it should have been kind of this either triumphant return, okay, he's standing for something, or this kind of ominous return of like, oh no, he's here, he's going to complicate things.
Yeah,
kind of like, oh, he's here now. That makes sense.
Yeah, he's just kind of another force in the battle until he picks a real stance to take at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry, did I interrupt you, Dustin?
No, I was literally gonna say, he shows up and is just there.
Yeah,
he's just there.
Like, hey, my name's John Walker and I am along for the ride.
Carly Morgenthau. I didn't know who that was when the screaming started.
I didn't either. I was like, Bucky doesn't sound like that. Who did this ADR?
It was Nicolas Cage, like I did. Like I always think Nicolas Cage voices and everything.
It's finally the live-action debut of Spider-Man Noir.
There was a good Cage impression.
Yeah.
With the Rubik's Cube.
Ghost Rider.
Oh man, Ghost Rider would have been way more exciting. This show could have definitely done with some sort of really big introduction like that. Like, I mean, throughout WandaVision, we're constantly like, oh, who's this? Who's that? Who's Jimmy Woo looking for? Who's his missing person? Oh, is Mephisto around? Is
it Reed Richards?
Yeah, Monica Rambeau is like calling in reinforcements, and everybody's like, it's Reed Richards. It's gotta be. And like, this show, I don't really see many entry points for new characters.
No,
much at all. I mean, we got U.S. Agent, right? But
I mean, even yeah.
that was pretty much nobody knew of that character before this show.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I did, but I would be lying if I said that I like that character even as much as I like, say, MODOK.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
My bumper sticker says I'd rather be reading Howard the Duck.
That would have been a fine reveal too, right? I mean, that would have been, so people would have talked about that. I don't feel like there's any reveal throughout this series that's going to be like, oh, this is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're saving him for the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
I hope so, man.
I really think they are.
I hope so. He fought to save the universe.
He did.
Yeah, Seth Green needs that paycheck.
Oh,
Sorry,
I forgot that's the voice actor.
Yep.
That's great.
Seth Green's probably fine.
Seth Green's
he doesn't
fine.
need it, but I'd like to see him again or hear him, as the case may be.
Yeah. He's earned some
He's one of
sitting
those
down.
people. Yeah.
Yeah, then we get more stuff with we get Sharon Carter melting a dude's face,
Yep.
Yeah. She do it.
literally.
Yep. In case we weren't sure if she was a villain or not yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she accidentally reveals she's the power broker to Batroc. She has to kill him, and then she's the one who ends up killing Carly Morgenthau with just a gun, which is possible. But even after it happened, Sarah was like, the super soldiers can just get killed with bullets, and I'm like,
Yeah.
there's nothing stopping that from happening, even though we've not seen it before.
I mean, she got shot earlier this series and lived.
Yeah.
But this was
Yeah.
the one that did it.
But she got shot 3 times this time.
Yeah.
This
Ironically,
Well, I mean,
Oh, sorry.
well, I mean, in Civil War, the super soldiers literally are all killed by a bullet to the head.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
true.
I was thinking about that today. I was like, oh yeah, Zemo did that.
I'm a little frustrated because I think they really blew how they handled taking Carly out of the equation, especially after they were clearly trying to make us care about her. And like, just by the time it happened, I was like, oh, okay, I guess she's gone now. Like, I didn't have much of a reaction beyond that. I was more, I don't think any of us didn't see the reveal of the power broker coming. I think that was pretty clearly telegraphed the first episode that we saw Sharon.
Yeah.
But
the first episode she's in is even titled Power Broker.
Exactly.
Right.
It seems like a huge reach that this character just went full villain over everything.
I agree. When you look at what she does in the 2 Captain America movies she's in, she's not there a whole lot, but she takes a stand and does like some pretty important things on the side of like right. And
yeah.
It's really strange that she would take this turn.
Especially with her stinger at the end of this episode too. Like she's gone full mustache twirling villain.
Yeah.
It feels weird. Even like this is one that like clearly she wasn't cast initially. Let me see if I can pull up her name. Emily Van Camp. She has the sweet girl next door persona all over. Like she's just not. She's not cast as this villainous kind of person. I don't feel like she could pull it off. I don't feel like I bought it at any point. I knew like we saw this telegraphed, but like at no point did I feel like she's actually capable of pulling it off.
Yeah, there was a big part of me that kept hoping that I was completely wrong about it.
Yeah.
But like just the longer go on, I was like, she's clearly the villain, but I do not think they really earned it or put in that work. And the only way that I would have been okay with it is if we'd gotten more reveal of motivation. Like, say she'd found out that Cap had gone back in time to bang her aunt for the last 80 years and left her a fugitive from justice. I could buy that. But at no point do we get any mention really of Steve significantly from her regarding that. It's just, well, I've been on the run for this whole time. Not, hey, he kissed me and then left me to go hook up with my dead aunt in the past. Which, like, that, totally get that. I would fully buy that. But that's one of the things that they just completely gloss over, and we never get any motivation for it. The same way that we were murky on the Flag Smashers motivation up until this final episode. And even then, I'm still not sure what the plan was.
Yeah.
Yeah. She is the other character that I think deserved an episode of her own. It probably would have been in between last episode and this episode, where we come in, we find out, she's a fugitive running. She finds out that Steve is still alive but old, and she pieces it together, and her dealing with that. And then
absolutely,
run. I felt like she deserved that. That maybe opens the doors to this, but I still don't think she should be the power broker, right? Like, we've introduced this nebulous thing.
Yeah.
Could have been. This is probably the only significant on ramp where we could have gotten a new big villain to tout through the next couple series, and
also the fact that Sam and Bucky don't put it together at all. Even after she straight up shoots Carly in front of Sam, he's not like, she probably didn't need to kill her.
Yeah.
She's probably still a good guy though, right?
Yeah.
And he immediately like puts that on the government. He's like, she didn't have to die. He was like, yeah, she didn't. You're right. And that was your friend that you brought to this fight.
Yeah, right?
That wasn't John Walker. That wasn't, anybody from the military.
Totally. Yeah, I felt weird about that whole thing. And yeah. And Sharon's just like, it just the way it's not addressed. Like, you could have easily forgotten by the end of the episode that she was more or less outed as the power broker had it not been for the post-credits scene. Because like the way it was just so nonchalant after, and she's just there and they're talking to her like, we're going to get you that pardon. I'm like, wait, really? Like, there's no question about that in your mind after the events of this evening? Yeah, it felt weird.
Yeah, the fact that she's essentially set herself up, even if you don't know that she's the power broker, she's clearly profiting off of illegal trade,
right,
in this country. Like, so dubious at best, whatever she's doing, regardless of whether or not she gave herself a silly alias.
Right.
I have a theory about the name power broker. We're reading it wrong. We're reading it as two words, power broker. But I think it's power, the word broke, and then her.
Oh,
power broker.
Just like V'ger is Voyager.
Yeah.
Star Trek. I gotcha. I gotcha.
Oh man.
Not just a hat rack. This thing.
I forgot about V'ger. Jesus.
Oh.
His theory is that V'ger is what like might have been the start of the Borg.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Like, that's a significant theory. It's a plausible theory. That we may or may. Do we want to get into that now?
I guess not. I keep on thinking like, oh, this is interesting, but then no. Stay on target.
So we
there it is.
there it is. John Walker is another one that kind of has a weird transition at the end of this, of like, he's been told, like in court, he's told he shouldn't ever associate with military, with anything, and then immediately he pops up again wearing the uniform, with a new shield that he's forged himself. And we don't see any real fallout from that.
Nope.
Yeah, no court martial.
No. Isn't that basically like getting your badge taken away and then going out like dressed and acting like a cop anyway?
Essentially. I mean, it'd be one thing if he had done anything. But like literally all he did was complicate things the second he got there, hesitated to save a van full of hostages, then putting that on Bucky and Sam essentially. And then he showed Bucky an app to trick the bad guys. And then he quoted Abraham Lincoln. That was his contribution.
Right. His turning point was that he didn't let people die. Which
I
don't know. And apparently everybody just accepted that. Like Sam shows up and isn't like, "Hey, what are you doing here? You just murdered a guy two days ago?"
And nothing like, "Dude, what do you think you're doing with that shield? Like, are you okay? Like, how is your brain right now? You know, like,
let's talk, buddy.
Do you need a friend?"
Yeah. Bucky gives him his therapist card.
Yeah.
Also, his arm healed really quick, but I guess that's like a super soldier thing.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
Also, he still lied to Lamar's parents.
Pretty quick. He didn't keep that promise.
That's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we get a thing at the end of this episode where Bucky's like, "I got to do the right thing, and I got to, tell this guy, give him some, closure."
Yeah, we'll talk about that when we get there.
We don't get like a similar thing with John Walker. It's just, I'm gonna keep that lie going.
We don't really get it with Bucky either, but I'll wait until we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, not the cleanest wrap up, right? We introduced two side characters with significant roles in the series, and I don't feel like it was particularly satisfying. They did get both of kind of the stinger, the end of the episode shots.
Yeah.
But character wise, it was kind of conflicting of like, okay, how did you get to this point?
Yeah.
But I do feel like what we got, and just to continue the episode on, we do get Falcon saving the hostages, right? He comes in with he's with his own bare hands lifting the truck up.
Yeah, from that Steven Spielberg Jurassic Park-esque
situation. It was like that. Yeah.
Sarah brought up. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a very Spielberg trope.
Yeah. We get a neat little use of Red Wing here, where it like attaches to the hood and helps lift it up. Like, definitely, I understand now why Red Wing kind of got sidelined through most of this series. He's way too useful. Yeah. He's the eyes in the sky. He's he can do a little bit of everything. Very handy.
And scan people's faces and find out if they can pilot a helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, can you tell me if any of those 4 people in there went to flight school, please, Red Wing?
Yeah.
That was absurd.
Kind of, yeah. And then, surprisingly, somebody who doesn't show up at all in this end series is Torres, who was a established character at the beginning of the series, and we saw progressively less of.
Yeah, I think there's literally like essentially a B-roll shot of him like at the end when like everything's wrapping. I think it's when they're all watching Sam's speech. I think he's watching it. It's what it is.
I mean, as a matter of fact, I mean, I always go to like the official Disney media kits to get the photos to make the artwork for these episodes, and one of the screenshots, one of like 5 screenshots they picked for this episode was of Torres watching the TV. I'm like, my God. And also no shot of Sam in the Captain America suit. I'm like,
really? Probably spoilers. They don't want to, they want that to be the reveal still. I don't know.
Yeah. So are we to the Sam speech at this point?
Yeah.
More or less. Batroc gets shot. Carly gets shot.
Batroc getting shot.
We get that very biblical image of Sam floating down with Carly's body like an angel.
Yeah.
You can't have a guy with wings and not do that shot, right?
I guess.
In the same way, you can't have like a person that can fly like Superman and not have him do like the Jesus imagery thing. You gotta use it. It's just low hanging fruit.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they've done that same shot with Angel in the X-Men movies, and
this shot looks almost exactly like, I think, like one of the big splash pages from Marvel's. Like there's a very similar from what's his face that illustrated Alex something. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. Yes, Alex Ross. Yeah, his artwork. Yeah, there's an almost identical image in Marvel's of Angel floating down like that, carrying somebody. I thought Sam's speech was really good, and then it went on for 3.5 more minutes.
Yeah. I mean, all of it was good. Like it's like I liked it a lot. I thought it hit a lot of really good points and raised a lot of really good things in a really blunt way that I was very surprised at for Marvel. But at the same time, yeah, it's like Sam was just like, "Oh, I have found my soapbox. Excuse me while I preach for a few."
Yeah, and then like he'd say something, I was like, "Yes, I'm on board with this." And he was like, "Don't call them terrorists." I was like, "They used violence and fear to meet their goals. That's literally what terrorism is."
They blew up buildings. They killed innocents.
Yeah, like not even just like killed military, like civilians died.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of a soapbox moment. I like, as a viewer, we definitely saw him experience this stuff. It felt true to his character, but at the same time, there was a little bit of dissonance of going, I don't think any politician would stand here and listen to him go on like this. They would just shut it down and walk away.
I don't think they would have if they hadn't had cameras on them.
Potentially. I thought this probably would have been better served as him making some sort of like social media announcement or something where he made like we get to see a moment where he presents himself as the new Captain America in like a video that's going viral. We're watching it be picked up by news stuff and him talking about these are the issues that we need to deal with now. You know, this is why I'm stepping up to the plate. And I thought that would have,
I think that's definitely like what they were going for. They were hoping that that's like, but they should have shown that. They didn't have to make it intentional, like that's what he was doing, but I think they showed all the people around taking footage, and so could have had some kind of a montage of everyone, you know, all over America or the world, kind of.
Yeah. Because he does have a good point of like, this is probably like, in terms of the MCU, this was a worldwide humanitarian unifying event.
Yeah.
Not even just that. And they limit it to like half of life on the planet. The reality of like Infinity War was half of the universe got wiped out.
Yeah.
This is much bigger than just people on Earth. But you know, he's talking specifically to people of Earth. And I don't know. It was good. It was a good speech. It was kind of what the series was building up to, and I don't think it failed on any front.
I think it failed in that I don't think a lot of the actions post that and even leading up to it stuck to what Sam was pushing, because especially the Isaiah Bradley stuff this episode really felt like a cop-out.
Yeah.
It did. We'll get to it.
And the fact that Sam saves 2 cops during this didn't float by me at all. I was not a fan of it.
He did do that. Yep.
Granted, that's what Captain America would do, but still.
Yeah.
He should have at least, like, I don't know, flexed on him and made him flinch or something.
Yeah.
Remind him who Captain America is, and they're just a couple of stupid pigs.
It's a little. How do you guys feel about the fact that all it takes is holding the shield to make you Captain America?
Yeah, he's just saying he's Captain America.
It's the Iron Throne. Whoever.
Kind of.
Yeah. All right.
I will say I think it's a little bit more than that, because this show spent almost half the season showing us that it takes more than just having the shield and wearing the costume. And we only really get like Sam pushing that he's the new Cap after he has this moment, after he has this big speech, which, regardless of how I feel about it, is supposed to be his moment to show that it's not just about the suit, it's not just about the shield, it's about taking a stand, it's about doing the right thing in the face of whatever opposition there is.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm talking in terms of like the people who are watching this at home in the MCU, in the world of, like, last thing they saw was John Walker decapitating some poor guy, and now they're like, oh, Sam's got it again. I guess he gets to be. We even have a little scene like that.
Did the public know that Sam had it to begin with?
Right. And so I guess there's just public opinion that's like, yeah, I guess he gets it back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I mean, at the same time, like, the public didn't get to determine that Steve Rogers was Captain America.
Right.
True.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even the government barely got to determine that. It was almost entirely down to Erskine making that call.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Because the military had literally a line of people that they wanted over Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, that was, I mean, they had no idea what the mantle of Captain America would become, though, right? I mean,
oh yeah, how could they have?
It was way,
I mean, the second Erskine was dead, there's like, hey, go sell war bonds for us. Instead of, using your superhuman strength and agility on the battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good thing they did not pick me, because I would have just been like, this war bonds gig's pretty nice. I'm gonna stick.
I'm gonna chill here. The war at home.
Nobody's shooting at me.
I just hope this means that Sam's gonna start doing a bunch of commercials for his family business in the suit.
Oh yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, we didn't.
I mean, that's the only way to explain the groundswell of community support for their newly established business at the end of the episode.
Yep. He didn't get the bank loan, but those commercials.
Yeah, we didn't get a resolution with the bank teller at the end of
no
series of him walking down the street.
They didn't need it. The community pulled their resources. They bought some ad time.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, hi, I'm Captain America, and when I want crawfish, I go to Wilson's Crawfish.
I was gonna say to have the scene of the bank teller walking down the street and randomly getting murdered by Sam. Bojaw's gonna kill that bank teller.
Captain America murders helpless bank teller.
Captain America was denied a bank loan.
Everyone is denied a bank loan. The teller is dead.
The power broker was denied a bank loan.
Yeah. But he does, seemingly having the shield and taking the mantle of Captain America does have perks with it, though, because he is able to get Sharon's record expunged, or whatever.
Yeah.
He's able to like make some things happen. Like he's able to make calls as if.
Well, they're like immediately like as soon as that night is just wrapping up, they're like, Cap, we found the last one. You want to go? He's like, yeah. So they're already just like, okay, thank God, thank you for digging us out of a for sure PR nightmare that would have brewed up very soon in the wake of this. So yes, thank you, Captain America. Please go do missions.
Yeah, my favorite part of that was when Cap went off to go finish up the rest of the bad guys, and he runs by Terrence Howard, and Terrence Howard looks at us and just goes, "Next time, baby."
Yep, that was my favorite part of the episode for sure.
Good cameo, yeah.
Then we get a series of wrap-ups. Okay, let's start with Elaine Bennis gives Walker a code name.
Well, we got to talk about the rest of the super soldiers getting rounded up first, right? Because that's directly what she's talking about. Because we see them all get thrown into a truck, and the guard putting them in the truck, which they're super soldiers. What are normal officers doing?
I know. That seemed weird.
They could just anyway. One of the guards says, one world, one people, and they get loaded up as if we're gonna get some sort of sequel, bait.
Mm-hmm.
And no, it just blows up. It's I didn't expect that to happen, and then we pull back to see Zemo's butler with his gloves on still, and a trigger.
Yeah, I didn't know what to make of that, honestly.
My roommate had to remind me who that was because I was like,
I actually
who is
didn't
this
know
guy?
too right now. I didn't know that was the butler until right now. I was like, who is this random old dude that they just introduced at the end of the episode? Is this Mephisto?
I think that's why they had him wear the gloves because there's nothing else.
It was actually Steve Rogers present day who pulled the trigger.
Yeah.
There could be only one. We get the new next season is a Highlander type removal of all superheroes.
As long as you put Clancy Brown in it, I'm on board.
Possible. But then that leads into the Elaine Bennett scene.
Yeah. She gives him a new uniform. Also talks right over any lines Walker's wife was gonna have.
Yep.
I counted the number of lines, and I'm like, I think she only had 2 or 3. I don't think she counts as even a featured extra in this episode.
What a shame.
Yeah. He gets the code name U.S. Agent, which they're both very excited about. His wife is excited and hugs him, and I'm like, what? Do they even know what this means? I don't even. I mean,
yeah. It's like my war criminal husband gets to keep on doing war crimes, I guess.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
It was so weird, the excitement over having that name to me, because I'm like, just give me a promotion with any random name, and I don't think it'd be like, oh, this is exciting, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I was super pumped for this. I was super pumped for this reveal, and then it happened. I was like, I guess that's cool.
Yeah, I was confused at why it took place in the courtroom where they took away his everything. But now they're back there, but he's seemingly using the judge's chambers as a changing room, and they're just hanging out in there.
She doesn't have her own place to just do all that.
Yeah, she doesn't have a Hydra castle somewhere or whatever.
Yeah, what?
Yep. Yeah, a little bit odd. Also, he's so pumped about. He's like, I'm back, and dude, you gotta go to counseling, man. It's tough to work through. You kind of cracked for a while there. You should take it slow.
Now you got to write some names in a book, my dude.
Kinda. But we get U.S. Agent is a known quantity in the MCU now.
Yeah.
Then the scene ends with the judge coming in and being like, "What the hell are you doing? We gotta." And then we get Bucky. He's making amends with everyone that he hurt. He was a bad boy, and he's got his scene there where he apologizes for murdering the son of this man.
Does he even apologize? I think he just tells him.
He just tells him.
His portion of a scene. I was so mad. They set this up for us literally from the first episode, and then they cut away from it.
It's not even that they they built up to it in that episode, but then they just leave that on the floor and they don't pick it up for 5 more episodes. It's not like you're reminded of this and Bucky's like, I need to it's not something that you see weighing on his conscience at all.
No, it would have been better if he literally just said, hey, I gotta go see somebody, and they'd stopped there.
Yeah.
Like, taking us back to this dude and making us sit through that confession and then just immediately walking away before we see any resolution, before we see how he copes with it or how he deals with it. Just like, why show us this at all then?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly how I felt. I was very much like, really? Like, this was part of what hooked me on the characters in the show in the beginning, and now all we're getting is just like, hey, it was me. Bye.
Yeah, and then literally we see him once more sitting at the restaurant with the girl that Bucky went on the date with.
Right.
And he's having a good time.
Yeah.
He's not sobbing into his tuna roll,
right,
going, I miss my dead gay son or whatever. He's just there. Like,
yeah, he just moved on.
Yeah.
No, it took a lot of the steam out of what, like you said, Alex, what felt so grounding about this show in the first place was like, we get introduced to Bucky. He's in counseling. We get, he's spending time with the father of a man that he killed, and like torturing himself over it, and then that whole kind of plot line just gets dropped.
Like, we're kind of supposed to think he has kind of healed and moved on to the next phase of his like mental well-being just through the course of the show, but we just don't see it.
Yeah. And then on top of that, the girl that he went on the date with literally looks at him, makes eye contact with him, and is just like, this is okay. And then just walks. It was like, if somebody ran out on me in the middle of a date that was going well, I'm hot, dang it. I'm going to go out there and be like, you walked away from this. What?
Yeah, and we don't even get... We're led to believe that Yori is still expecting him on Wednesdays, but we don't get like a, oh, you've not been here for 2 months or however long.
Right, however long this took. Yeah.
It's so good to see you or anything. He's just like, you're not supposed to be here today. Today's not your day.
Like, this should have been a moment on par with Tony learning that the Winter Soldier killed his parents, and then in the same blow learning that Steve knew about it the whole time and didn't tell him.
We get a scene with New Cap and Bucky having to fight off this old man throughout a weapons silo.
Yes.
We'll stop by that point, but I mean, as far as like the emotional impact of a scene like that, like that's amazing, and it hits hard, and like obviously you don't want these characters to fight each other, but like at the same time, like you understand why Tony does.
Yeah.
And
also, Tony like had already like made amends and had gotten over his parents' death, and that was like such a visceral reaction he had. And this guy is literally still mourning every day.
Yeah, has a shrine built to his dead son.
Yeah.
Yeah,
disproportionate.
I did feel like it took the feet out from under what should have been a really big reveal. And like when Sebastian Stan stole the scene a couple episodes back in Wakanda, where he, we see the deprogramming. With what's her name? Io.
Yeah.
That was such a great emotionally heavy scene. We get to see, real weight. I mean, he really is dealing with whether he can fight these words or not. It's rough. I wanted to see the resolution to Yori to be at least that.
Yeah.
I want to see him
or any resolution to it at all.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, we do see right after this. We do see the one more shot with the counselor, with the book, and we see that Bucky has crossed off all the names, which is supposed to lead us. He's made amends for everything. He's completed that. But it would have been nice to. It's that show and not tell, or it's that tell and not show again.
Yes, definitely is.
And then we get one last trick with the cinematography where Bucky's looking into the restaurant and then he steps out of frame and then walks off, which I was like, okay, cool. Yeah. Bucky has had some good cinematography throughout this series.
He has. There was effort made, and more than I feel like is generally made in a lot of Marvel movies. No offense, Marvel DPs. Like, you're totally doing what you're being asked to do.
Alex is in the industry. Shots fired. This is gonna be all over every scene. Screen Rant's gonna be like, oh man.
Nah, no one listens to this podcast except Brazil. We are the country's salvation from the COVID hell that is happening in Brazil right now.
Oh man, you don't think it's a bunch of Nazis in hiding listening to our podcast, do you?
Oh, that'd be bad. I don't like that idea.
I don't like that idea either. Well, maybe there's two kinds of people. There's two kinds of people that live in Brazil: Brazilians and Nazis in hiding.
Wow. I guess we'll see what our numbers are after this episode.
Yeah, we need to get more detailed metrics.
All right, I'll get on it.
Thanks.
And, then we get another scene with Isaiah Bradley, where Sam goes to visit him, and then takes him on a little road trip to Washington D.C. to show him a brand new statue they made. Just for him.
I think the nephew here it's his nephew.
Mm-hmm.
He has been in every scene that Isaiah's been in.
Yeah, because I want you to remember.
And they want you to remember him. In the comics, he becomes a part of the Young Avengers. So I'm sure that's what the direction that we're headed. They made such a point for him to be a part of everything that Isaiah was in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just they continue that here. He was right at the door when Sam walks up. He's causing problems. We'll have to make note of this guy because he's gonna show up again.
He definitely will. This scene was whatever.
Yeah.
This scene, I mean, like, it just seemed like so much. Like, Sam just convinced the government to acknowledge another atrocity committed against black men that just, like, to no fanfare, this just went up in this thing. Like, Isaiah Bradley didn't hear about this already. Like, yeah. it wasn't like, right, but it's like, it's ticker tape news. It's like, scream ticker news, like, U.S. acknowledges experimentation on black soldiers with super serum during World War II. Like, that's news.
Yeah. It felt very much like a strictly performative gesture.
Yeah.
Because none of that undoes the years that he was imprisoned.
No.
Or experimented on by his own government.
Letters from his wife that they hid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking more about I think it was the last episode that Sam went to visit him again. Or the episode before, whichever episode it was. I got angrier thinking back to that. Because when Sam was talking with Sarah, he made the argument as like, oh, well, I don't want to be like bitter and angry like this guy's like, Isaiah Bradley has every reason in the world to be bitter and angry. Not even as a super soldier who was experimented on and betrayed by his government, but as a black person who fought for a country that didn't want him to begin with. Like,
right.
And the more I thought about that, I was like, I know that this show is trying to acknowledge the struggle and the weight of being a black person in America, fighting for your country, but I think Sam having that conversation and saying those things is a huge disservice to that. And I think it works against that messaging for the show.
Yeah. I think this was tantamount. This was tantamount to him being like, here, we cloned your wife. You can have more time with her or something. Like, it just felt so unrealistic and ungrounded. I think Isaiah Bradley deserves to be a tragic story in the MCU. I don't think he gets to have a resolution because of who he is. That's what he represents in the story.
Absolutely. And I can't imagine in the back of his brain like that was what he wanted. It's like, yes, I wanted a statue, not the 30 years of my life back and the woman I love that you took from me.
Based off of everything that they'd already established with this character, when this reveal happened, I'm like, this isn't enough. This guy is going to be like, you think this does anything? Like, thanks, but no thanks.
It would have been great if he would have just torn it down right then. He's like, oh, nice. Whoosh. Chops the head off.
Yeah, that I think would have been more consistent with that character.
Yeah. Agree.
And Isaiah Bradley is definitely one of the more interesting things that this show did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at every moment up until this one, I think we've been on board for that. And then this happened, and I felt cheap. I was like, this is such a total cop-out. Like, this is... Like, good Lord, why don't you just start barking All Lives Matters at Isaiah Bradley while you're at it? Come on.
I do think that this, because so much of Isaiah's introduction here is to set up Eli Bradley, I think this will be like a grounding point for Eli in future things, that he'll come back to this, and like in the same way that we've seen like Bucky and Steve come back to their their museum entry so many times throughout those movies. I think we'll see Eli show up here with the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's the only sense I can make of it, because you're right, it robs this character of the bitterness that he's deserved.
To me, he's just like, the way he like is like, all is forgiven. I feel like they could have still done this, and he could have been begrudgingly like this is like a small drop in the bucket. Like, this is a start, but this is in no way.
Yeah, that's 100% what it should have been at most. Like, it should have been as like, this is a good start. Like, hey, now pay me for the years of like military pension,
right?
Among other things. Just like, oh, I got a statue. Everyone still thinks I'm dead though, so yeah, I think this show, it was either there are too many people in it or there's not enough show. And I think a lot of the story threads suffered for it.
Yeah.
Because even at the end of the last episode, I was like, unless the finale is an hour and a half long, I don't know how they're going to adequately resolve everything that they've set up in a satisfying way. And they didn't, unfortunately.
It was, it was serviceable. I don't think it went above and beyond. I don't think it's something that we're going to talk a lot about later.
No, definitely not the way. Definitely not the way we did WandaVision, for sure.
Yeah, we did miss a little blip of Zemo's wrap up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Kind of forgot about that.
Which, how do radios work on a submersible
in the maximumist security prison?
Yeah. Do they have a radio tower on top of the raft?
I mean, we have shape-shifting aliens. I'm willing to suspend my disbelief on a radio that works underwater.
Sure.
I mean, submarines have radios.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
I buy it.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I am willing to let slide with this episode as far as my issues.
Yeah. I mean, it is a fun nitpick, though. I mean, they let him have a radio. Yeah. It seems like he could craft it into something.
It's just cool to get another just brief shot of Daniel Bruhl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a little bit of BDE energy going on.
And speaking of BDE, which I watched the movie Rush this week, which has got huge amounts of BDE. I'd say it's the most I've ever seen. So if you're like really craving some good Daniel Bruhl, I highly recommend that. Which he goes head to head with Thor himself, Chris Hemsworth. It's
all right, noted.
Delivers way more Daniel Bruhl than I think this series did.
Than the average this movie watching consumer can get. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway.
BDE.
Where are we at? What was next up?
And then we
the
get
Stinger.
Then we get the cookout.
Oh right,
yeah.
right. The successful seafood establishment. Was that not something they were already doing? Because that seemed like just a thing that they should have been doing from the start.
It's true.
Who's to say?
Like, is it just successful now? Like.
I think
It
so.
does seem like they got it through, like...
Yeah.
Face on the boat.
They're selling po' boys to gators in the swamp.
It's now like a Bubba Gump establishment.
Sure, let's go with it.
Yeah.
I wanted a brief little scene here for the government to show up and be like, yeah, you're Captain America now. You don't get to just have a day off. We've got like terrorists over here. We've got all kinds of the power brokers back somehow. We don't know who it is. You got knuckles cracking. Let's get to work, buddy.
He's got to catch all these scrimp.
He was busy before, just doing these side missions, these aerial missions with helicopters. And stuff.
Which was the main conflict between him and Sarah, was that he was gone, and now he's Captain America. It's not going to get better.
I'm Captain America, and I got time to work on my family's shrimp boat.
But apparently, I mean, Bucky's going to be around a little more often, so maybe that helps ease the load.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if we even see this character again ever.
Sarah, you mean?
One?
Yeah.
Sarah,
or Bucky?
Oh, yeah. I don't know if we're going to hear from this Bucky fella ever again.
We're going to see Sarah again because she's going to be Mrs. Winter Soldier soon.
Ah.
The Wintress Soldier.
I was gonna. Yes. I was trying to think of how to feminize it.
Yeah, we get the ending with them all just having a good old time, and then we get the title Captain America in the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
it's cool, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. And then thinking about it afterwards, I'm like, as cool as that is, where Sam gets the new title that he deserves.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Like, Bucky is like, he doesn't want to be known as the Winter Soldier.
Yep.
Yeah, in this episode, he's dissociated from that. Like, he was killed by the Winter Soldier, and that was me. Why wasn't it Captain America and the White Wolf? That would have been.
That's better. My fix is going to be Captain America and James Buchanan Barnes. Really rolls off the tongue.
Captain America and pals.
Captain America and will they, won't they? They will if Tumblr has anything to say about it.
Yeah, that's a great Poor Bucky. He's always trapped in a time frame that wasn't his. He's trapped in a name that's not his.
Yeah.
It's always the bridesmaid, that Bucky.
Kind of.
Because even when Sam was Falcon, it was like he had pride in the name. He's like, yeah, that's me. But I don't think Bucky ever wants to be ever liked being known as the Winter Soldier. And he's like, all right, I'm still saddled with this. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Does he ever call himself Falcon?
He corrects people when they call him Black Falcon.
He sure does.
He does.
Yeah.
That's a great point, though, Travis. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, neither.
Bucky's trapped in this. So then we get our credits, and then we get our end credits scene.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which what are the
Sharon
ramifications?
her pardon, and then she walks out and she makes a call right out there in the open. He's like,
She's
"Hey,
on the steps.
we're open for business, baby. What do you guys want?"
Yeah, gets the keys to S.H.I.E.L.D. with no background check.
It's about to be crime o'clock.
Yeah, it's like, hey, remember when Hydra infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. from within? Maybe at least do a background check before you offer a former espionage agent their old job.
Yeah, Hydra, infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. and she was one of the very few people that was like, no, we are not letting this happen. And this is down here.
And also, S.H.I.E.L.D. is being run by Skrull now too.
Yeah. Also true.
Right.
Or at least managed by Skrull by Nick Fury in space.
So that is the one thing about this that I've heard people who have had issues with this whole Sharon Carter situation are like, oh, she's a Skrull. And I'm like,
is she though?
Yes. Does that
no.
make it better?
That makes zero sense. Because I feel like if she was a Skrull, that would have been the stinger.
Yeah. Where they do the reveal of that.
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason to hide it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole power broker thing still sits funny with me.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. I wish that there hadn't been a reveal yet. I would have loved to have seen, or if they had done a reveal of some kind, I wish we would have found out like power broker is Doom. Dr. Doom is,
or somebody a little more interesting.
Yeah, the MCU has done this before where they drop names whether they have a place for people or not, because Phil Coulson in like, I don't even remember, it's like Avengers 1 or something, talks about they have eyes on Stephen Strange. And then when we do you remember which?
It's in Captain America in the Winter Soldier.
Is that it?
It's not Coulson, it's the other guy that they're trying to get info out of. Falcon's interrogating him on the roof, and he says,
yes. Yeah, Sitwell. That's the guy.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. But like they used his name, they invoked Stephen Strange, even though we find out in Doctor Strange that there was no reason to suspect him at all, So it would be okay for them to start invoking some of these other names just to be like, yeah, we know that you want to see Doctor Doom. It's okay.
They teased us with Thanos before they even cast him.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah.
Yeah. I think the whole MCU thrives off of these big, like, it's coming, it's going to happen. You're going to get to see this eventually. So let's do it. We know that they're not going to just sideline Doctor Doom.
Yeah. Oh, who's this on the SHIELD watch list? Doreen Green, aka the Squirrel Girl.
You could not. Oof, that's gonna be a sad day when Squirrel Girl hits the.
I just want to marry Squirrel Girl. Is that so wrong?
Yes.
Don't you shame me.
Hey man, you're talking about sex with cartoons now, and that's not weird. I mean, that is weird. That's not weird, man.
I'm not talking about a cartoon. I'm talking about the real life Squirrel Girl.
That's not a thing. You're making that up.
Yet.
So
not a thing yet.
Let's do final thoughts on this series and television, MCU shows moving forward.
Yeah, I'm not mad I watched it. I'm much more excited for Loki. The parts I liked and the parts that I thought hit very well. But I thought it was overall outweighed by parts that were just okay.
Yeah, I think it was. I grew less excited every week to watch it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And I think they did a pretty good job of wrapping everything up. However, it felt like when you're wrapping a present and you have way too much wrapping paper and you're like, I'm going to fold things in certain ways and just tape this all up at the end and hopefully nobody notices. That's kind of what it felt like.
Yeah,
that's a great analogy.
I mean, it was still better than Thor: The Dark World, so. But I
Before
definitely.
the light, there was darkness, and from the darkness came the dark elves.
I think this show would have hit a little different if we hadn't gotten spoiled by WandaVision off the jump. If it had dropped when it was supposed to, because I feel like that would have been a more natural progression of expectations. But, I mean, I think we can all agree that WandaVision was pretty solid.
Oh, yeah.
And I think we all definitely were hoping to see that same consistency here, and I think the show unfortunately worked against itself with a lot of its messaging and by just kind of overcrowding the play box.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Like, certainly we've seen lower lows in the MCU. I don't think it ever like tips into outright offensive. I think it's always serviceable. But yeah, every week I was a little less excited to watch it. I might have messed that up because I've talked about this before. Invincible is airing right now on Amazon Prime.
So good.
And it's so good. I'm so excited every time. They were both launching new episodes on Fridays, and it was a real struggle for me to be like, I would much rather watch Invincible first. If it hadn't been for the podcast here, I don't know that I would have finished Winter Soldier until after Invincible was done.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't every episode of Invincible has been captivating, and this show is fine. It's fine. It's just not. There's no big wow moments for me.
Yeah, I think if we'd gotten the show that we were led to believe we were going to get from the first episode or two, I think this would have been a really solid show. But I think it kind of dropped the ball along the way. And I will say, in spite of that, I think Stan and Mackie are both consistently really solid throughout.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
I agree with that. I don't think the acting was an issue.
Not at all.
I wish that it had the same compelling nature that the second and third Captain America films had.
Yeah,
that's what they were going for, and I did not get that. Which we can talk about that as well. They're developing a fourth Captain America movie with with Sam as Cap, which is exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
Oh yeah.
Deal with it, America.
Yeah, you jerks.
Yeah, jerks.
They announced who is taking lead, who's directing, right? I don't remember. I didn't see it on a brief search. I thought they did.
I think
Everybody
the
quick,
showrunner for
start
this
typing.
show is helping develop.
Yeah, that's all I see is that it's in works. It's in
maybe
development
I'm wrong.
with Malcolm Spellman.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought they announced a director, but I don't see that anymore. So I must be making that up. Sorry.
Directed by Lars von Trier.
Oh,
there we go.
after Space Jam 3, moving right on in to the end.
I would like to see this dynamic in a cinematic film. We didn't get a whole lot more of the Bucky Sam banter that I thought we got at the beginning of this, and we got more of in Civil War and stuff. I want more of that. The buddy cop stuff is great.
Yeah.
And I think both actors play off of each other really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
All right, so that's Falcon.
Goodbye
and/or
for now.
Captain America and the Winter Soldier, everybody.
Yeah, goodbye for now, you two.
Yeah, so Falcon long.
All right, so
Mother Falcon.
now, in the next few weeks, we've got like 6 or 7 weeks now until Loki drops. So we're going to be doing something in between there. I think we'll be going back to Movie Madhouse.
Yay!
All last summer, and I thought that was quite enjoyable.
Yeah, I had a great time doing that show.
Yeah.
Not as popular in Brazil.
No.
But
Only the
one
blank check
episode.
episode.
Yeah. Only the blank check episode in the Philippines. We are an internationally adored program.
Which that may or may not be because people were looking for the Blank Check podcast. I do not know. Which is a popular film podcast.
Have to play off of those keywords some more.
Yes.
And get that SEO.
Yeah.
Jeez. So yeah, we'll do that. We're gonna take a week off next week, but we might get, if we're lucky, we get to talk about 6 movies before we start talking about Loki.
Yeah. We do not know what we're leading with, so stay tuned for that.
But something, and it'll probably be streaming.
But
We'll try
something.
I think we'll try to pick stuff that is like watchable. Unless there's something really good. I mean, I would love to talk about I Woke Up Early the Day I Died, but that's like an adult movie and not a high concept children's film.
All right, Josie and the Pussycats it is.
Oh yeah, I'll talk about Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh, big fan.
But yeah, we'll figure that out.
20 years old. The movie.
It did, yeah.
Yeah.
Just about a week ago was the anniversary of the day I saw 3 movies starting with the letter J in a movie theater first run. Just visiting Josie and the Pussycats and Joe Dirt.
Very nice.
When is another time that 3 movies starting with the letter J were playing first run? I don't think ever.
All right, Joker, Jojo Rabbit, and I don't know.
That's 2.
Oh, did Jurassic World Forbidden Kingdom come out that year, or was that before?
Yeah.
2018.
The James Bond didn't. If it hadn't gotten bumped.
Even if they came out in the same year, are they all in release in the same week?
Oh, same week.
Well, I mean, like, are they all simultaneously playing at one time in a theater where you could just theater hop and see J's?
Joker and Jojo Rabbit probably.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Anyway.
Yeah.
This is a fun exercise.
Weird. Yeah. All right, so we will be figuring that out. And in the meantime, Alex, where can people find more of you?
Twitter and Instagram at Alex Brunel, like it says right there. And if you go to my website, abrunel.com, you can see my resume as a local 600 camera assistant, currently available for May and June. July and August got booked. But hit me up. Let me keep your movie in focus. It'll be so good. Okay.
And Dustin, how about you?
You can see what I got going on at DustinMeadowsComedy.com once I finally get around to updating it this week. You can also find me on Twitter and Instagram at Dustin Meadows. And speaking of J movies, this Friday on Cast, you can witness the world premiere of Jaws, a collaborative remake, of the film Jaws that I made with a whole bunch of comedians and artists and filmmakers over the last year in quarantine. Very excited about it and super stoked. So the link for that's in my Instagram. You can check that out and register an account, and it's a lot of fun. You can chat with the filmmakers while we watch it.
Nice.
Very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited to check that out.
Yeah. And,
I'm excited to be finally done with the edit. So.
Ryan, how about yourself?
You can find me on Twitter at Harbjagen. That's HARBJAGEN. Yeah, not a lot going on. Not as exciting as what we got with Mr. Dustin here.
Yeah. So, and before I sign off, I figured it out. In October 11th of 2019, Jexy came out.
Jexy.
Yes. Film starring Adam Devine.
Never heard of that
All
movie.
3 of those films released in October of 2019. So.
All right. Well, maybe it happened as recently as 2019.
The movies, yes. I can't imagine one person saw all 3 of them in a day, though. I can't imagine one person saw all 3 of them at all.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Never saw Jexy. Wish I didn't see Joker.
Jojo Rabbit's awesome.
Jojo Rabbit is so great. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
So yeah, you can find this show on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, where we stream every week. Please subscribe to us on any podcatcher of your choice, no matter what country you're from. Please subscribe, leave reviews, leave feedback. We appreciate all of it. And until 2 weeks from now, when we come back with the movie Madhouse, for one last time for a minute, piss off, you ghost.